Hey guys, Bowler here with a quick guide to controllers and what controls are the best to use in SSF2. But before I get to that, I wanted to talk about a quick giveaway I'm doing to celebrate all the growth I've been getting recently. So I'll be giving away a McLeod Gaming hoodie in whatever size you want if you win, as well as a McLeod Gaming mousepad to the second winner. If you want to enter, all you have to do is go to the link in the description below and complete the task there to enter. I'll be contacting the winners on Twitter to work out the details, so make sure you're following me there to know if you won. So good luck to everyone who enters, and let's start off the video. So, there's three main controllers for SSF2, a keyboard, GameCube controller, and Xbox/PS4 controller. But by far the most common controller by newcomers and top players alike is the keyboard. As you can see from this poll I took, around 2/3 of the community use the keyboard. One of the main reasons for this is that it's the default control scheme, since the game is being played on a computer unlike the main Smash games. A lot of people who are new to Smash and play SSF2 for the first time get used to the keyboard controls because it's the default. It may take some people a little while to get used to the keyboard controls, but a lot of people actually like it. Another reason is the lack of resources, as many players don't have access to a controller and an adapter to play with a GameCube controller. And many people are fine with the keyboard and don't want to spend money on a controller they're not going to use. And the last reason is, well, controllers don't give you that much of an advantage in SSF2. Because SSF2 was made with keyboard controls in mind, players are restricted to 8 directions instead of the usual 360 angles on an analog stick. On top of the fact that controllers don't give you a large advantage over a keyboard, in some ways keyboards can actually be better than controllers. There's certain advanced tech in SSF2 that you can only do by holding both left and right at the same time. But with a traditional controller, you can't really do that, which makes some of these techs impossible to do. Things like jab out of dash and sliding off needles are examples of these advanced tech. However, there are still some players who prefer to use the controller, whether it's because they're more comfortable with it or they don't like the feel of the keyboard. Players such as Darkkiller use a controller and still do really well, because the most important thing about controls is that it's very hard to be objective about them. It really comes down to personal preference more than anything. If you're better with the controller, then use the controller. However, most players use the keyboard. Also, if you're having issues setting up your controller, I recommend watching Ninja Lobster Studios' guide to setting up a GameCube adapter for SSF2. There's a link to the video in the description below, so if you're having trouble, go watch that video. Now I want to talk about something that's pretty divided, which is whether or not to use tap jump. From the results of the poll I took, most people use a jump button with tap jump off. But there's still a very large number of people who prefer tap jump, as well as people who use both. This is also likely because people get used to tap jump since it's on by default. I personally have it turned off since it allows me to do up tilts much easier instead of accidentally jumping, but it's really just whatever you're more used to. It really comes down to personal preference more than anything. When it comes to dashing, there's two main popular choices: D-tap dash and auto dash. Another option is auto walk with the dash button, but most people don't go for this since most of the time you're running, and if you need to walk, just use a walk button. That's why auto dash with walk button is pretty popular, and I personally use it. The other popular choice is D-tap dash, which is where you press the direction you want to go twice to start dashing. This is on by default, and a lot of people get used to it. And neither option is really objectively better, but I find auto dash more consistent. So here's the controls that I use, a combination of default and my own personal preferences, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Anyways, that's about all for this video. Thanks for watching.